What's up, everyone? Good morning, and welcome back to another edition of the show. It is episode 381, and I'm excited about today's show. We're going to bring on a U.S. Open champion from just recently, 70 kilograms in a wild finals match, which we're going to get to that later on the show. We're going to watch it with him, but it's Tyler Berger. Tyler, thanks for joining the show, man. How you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right. Like I said, I want to talk U.S. Open and get to that and talk Final X, but I want to kind of go back. I guess it's been, I don't know exactly, 2 years, or there was California. Now you're in Pennsylvania, but, well, it was Nebraska, California, Pennsylvania. So I just want to talk to me about the move to California, how that came about, and what that experience was like.
Yeah. So getting out of Lincoln was, I just randomly gotten reached out to of a training opportunity to go out there. And I wasn't really thinking about moving, but when the opportunity presented itself, I was talking to my fiance at the time, now wife, and the idea kind of excited me of being able to. I knew Vincenzo Joseph was going to be out there, and I knew Shane Griffith was out there, and a few other guys on the team, and so I just figured I'd been in Nebraska for 7 years, and so I kind of was looking. The idea of something new excited me, and I figured that I was confident in my ability to have success anywhere, and I thought going out and trying something new would push me. And I wanted to train with Vincenzo badly. I wanted to train with a guy that had been at Penn State and just kind of see how they operated. And yeah, Vincenzo was a great friend, mentor, teammate, and learned a lot.
Cool. I guess, first of all, just they seem obvious, but tell me the differences about living in Nebraska versus California.
Oh my gosh, dude, sun every day. I was out in the sun every day. We were living the dream. It was like all my roommates, we couldn't believe it just made wrestling easier. You'd be cutting weight and walk outside and your palm trees and sun, and like, man, this isn't that bad, versus Nebraska winters. You're cold, you're cutting weight, you're sore, just everything just hurts. So yeah, just the whole environment of California was amazing. And yeah, we had a good community out there. So it was just a lot more relaxed, I would say.
And then I guess to the training part, right? You were excited. You wanted to train with Chenzo because obviously whatever they're doing over in Happy Valley is really effective. And on top of that, he's, really good wrestler and a kind of a unique feel, those heavy hips, and he's good in a lot of different positions. So talk to me about, well, first, just specifically Vincenzo and what we learned from him, whether mentally, tactically, approach wise, and or physically on the mat.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just get my hands on him, and he's an incredible wrestler. So it was hard not to get better feeling that, but just mentally too, the way he approached things. He's a dog, and the way that he trained was cool to see. The way he would beat guys up and the way he would have fun with the sport. And I remember distinctly going into the World Team Trials of 2022 would be, and we were just kind of hanging out, and he just randomly started a conversation of like, man, I'm like really excited to just compete. He goes, I'm really thankful that we get to do this together. And he's like, win or lose, I really want to lay it on the line. And it was just like everything that you had seen of Vincenzo Joseph in the background, like that's the way he was talking about it too, of like he's thankful for the opportunity to compete, he's excited about it, and he's willing to take risks. And so just like those small moments, that one stuck out to me in particular, and that kind of like summed up our relationship of me just like learning from him, watching the way that he operates and the way that he trains. And yeah, he's a good friend as well. So just being there for us outside of the room, it was cool. And we've developed a really cool relationship over the past couple of years.
Okay. How about, so that's cool. That's like the approach and right. The ideology almost of the way to see the sport. Now on the mat, was there anything you took from him technically, or whether he was actually trying to teach it to you or just things you picked up?
Yeah. I mean, I learned not to go upper body with him pretty quickly. He but yeah, just his intensity was pretty apparent right away of the way that he drilled, the way that he would go live was there was no hesitation in positions. It was get to your ties, get to your positions, explode through, hard finish, and foot on the gas the entire time. So there was no lax in the match that when we would be practicing. It was foot on the gas the whole time, find your position, find your position, find your position, and explode. And that it just helped my intensity, I would say, with that kind of approach to the match. He wasn't there to hang out, which yeah, which is it's hard if you're used to only wrestling 4 out of the 6 minutes, and you're going to be in for a dogfight when you wrestle Chenzo.
Sure. Found a great training partner out there, obviously previously, and once again, you have a great, maybe the best training partner in Jordan. Maybe just similarities and or differences between the two, and again, just from your perspective, things you took away.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Jordan is there's outliers in the sport, and then there's Jordan Burroughs, and the guy doesn't have an off day. And I've been around him now. I was 7 years with him in Nebraska, and now being here in Philly with him, it's incredible. I can't even emphasize it enough of the way that Jordan approaches training is unmatched in every way that I've been around. And I've been around, just rubbed shoulders with the best guys in the country for a long time. And I've never seen anything like Jordan. His intensity in the room is, he just doesn't care about your well-being, as far as he's going to crush your spirit every time. And that that elevates the room. You can tell when Jordan's in the room and he's wrestling live, it elevates the room. And so it's just cool to be able to learn from him. And he's very open about just speaking with us and pouring into us on his mentality and his mindset. And even him being open about the fear and the stress and the nerves that go into, even a hard workout of like, you hear him talk about being nervous to push himself. You hear him talk about hitting these walls, and it's not any easier now than it was for him when he was in college. It's the same challenge over and over and over again. But to him, he's so well versed in being able to break down those barriers that you kind of gain confidence from it, because you just see him meeting that fear and pushing it over, and you just being there with him. You're like, well, I can do the same thing. And so you just like start to get that mentality as well when you face those challenges. I have anyways in my experience with them.
Man, that's super cool to hear about a guy like him who's, he's it. Talk about fear, even fear of a workout or fear of pushing yourself, or, when is the first time you, because I think those are things, I say we, right? I did wrestle at one point. But it's we all kind of probably have thought or felt those kind of things. But when it's the first time it clicked from you, like, or maybe you heard him say those kind of things, like, oh wow, this is normal. The best of the best deal with this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, like I've always kind of known that. And you know that there's these challenges that you have to break down, and that there are these things just in training of like, you start to see these, it relates to the mat of when you're training and you're backing away from the challenge when you're training, and when you should be pushing, but you hold back. And then you watch the way that you compete, and you see yourself in these moments of deep levels of fatigue and stress and anxiety. And instead of rising to the challenge, you back away. And so I think I'd always had a little bit of it, but it's really hit me after college. I would say these past few years, I've started to really grow in that and step into that fear and try to figure things out. And being a part of Jordan, being a part of the Penn RTC has helped me a lot, because it's not just a college team. We have a full RTC of guys that are doing whatever they can to be a world champ. So that kind of mentality spread throughout this whole team. I don't want to be left behind. And so I have to think about, what am I struggling with? Why am I not successful? Why am I not accomplishing the goals that I want? And so I'm doing a lot of work outside of the room, figuring out things mentally And that way, when I come into the room, I'm ready to go. And so, yeah, I mean, and you see Jordan talking about it as well. And it makes it normal. It normalizes the fear of like, you're the only one that feels this. And when he's talking about it, you're like, okay, like this is normal. Like, relax. Let's just push through here.
Yeah. So I guess, we talked about Pennsylvania, or excuse me, California, and going out there and training with Vincenzo. How, did Jordan call you up and be like, bro, want you back, or come join the team, or how did it with Slay? How did it, at least start with the idea of like, there's an opportunity in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so it was crazy. It was actually in a period of time where I was thinking about leaving California, didn't have really any other opportunities presented to myself, and I was already thinking about reaching out to other people. And it just so happened when within all that Jordan calls me and he was like, "Hey, I don't know how your situation is in California. I know it sounds like you've been liking it, but we need a 70 kilo at the PRTC." And he goes, I think that you would be a good fit. And it was just like a super, I don't know, if to me is a God thing of like, it kind of fell into our lap. And then I got in contact with Coach Slay, and just right away that his leadership seemed like I would be a good fit under him. And the ball just kind of got rolling, and went out and visited in Philly, and I fell in love with it. And I was telling my wife, like she was freaking out, like going coast to coast. She's small town Nebraska, took her out to the West Coast. And now I'm like, we're moving to the city in Philly. And that was overwhelming for her, but she just trusted me, and she trusted the guys that we were going to be a part of. And yeah, it's been a blessing, man.
You went out, you're living in California, you went out and visited, I fell in love with it. I'm sure Jordan being there was a factor, and being able to train and all that. But what about the PRTC aside from Jordan, did you like?
Well, I like the team aspect of it. I like the fact that I'd have a guy smaller than me to train with Joey, and guys bigger than me with Jordan and Dave. And then, Mark, I don't get to go with too much, but having two college programs that get to kind of rub shoulders with and have partners there, and the leadership with those teams. And then just being with Slay. Our RTC is different in Slay's not affiliated with the college program. So his focus is just us. And he he's well versed in freestyle, and he's coached at the highest level. He's competed at the highest level. And the idea of just being fully entrenched in freestyle was what I wanted to be a part of. And all these guys, when I talk to them, they want to be successful, and they're not worried about anything else. And that's the environment that I thrive in the most, because then it just elevates me daily. And yeah, I knew it would be a good spot to be in.
Are you a Philly cheesesteak kind of guy?
Dude, I haven't even had a cheesesteak yet.
Goes over.
I
Stop.
I know. I
What?
know. I'm a pizza guy, so every time I don't really eat that kind of food very much anyways, but when I do have the opportunity, I usually just go out and get a pizza. But yeah, I mean, I gotta go get a cheesesteak. I was even thinking it's my 1 year wedding anniversary on Sunday, and might have to go get a cheesesteak right before we get into this training camp for Final X.
Please do. I mean, I love pizza as much as anybody, but I love a good Philly cheesesteak, and I've had a bunch in Philly, and I've liked pretty much all of them. But I was gonna ask your opinion, but I won't, because disappointingly, you haven't
Oh,
had one yet.
well, it's funny because going into the US Open, my Instagram algorithm was so dialed in on the Philadelphia food scene. So I have a notes in my phone of like hundreds of places. Like it's and categorized like places to get a drink, places to get a cheesesteak, place to get a pizza, like rooftop. Like I have everything. It's a whole document. So I probably know of the places. I just haven't tried them.
All right. Well, what's the best pizza you found so far?
My favorite is Angelo's. And then there's this little town called Fishtown that Pizzeria Badia, and Badia is pretty good. But my favorite right now is Angelo's.
Okay. Angelos. I'll have to give it a shot next time I come out.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
awesome.
U.S. Open, 70 kilos. I don't know. What were your expectations coming in? Was it like I'm coming here and I know I'm gonna win? I'm coming. I hope I'm gonna win. I come. We'll see how I do.
Um, so I'm definitely not a guy that says like when I win, like, and I think it's kind of people want to build themselves up of like there's no way that I can lose. And I just don't believe that. I think you could get rolled up. And I think at the tournament we saw that happen at several different places. So I just knew going into it, the focus was I knew I have the ability to win. No matter who I wrestle, no matter what happens, I had full confidence that if I wrestled to the best of my ability, if I was willing to give full effort, I have the ability to win. And so the effort I was willing to give, the small things that I wanted to focus on, I knew if I could stay on track there, that I was going to be able to win this tournament. And for me, the focus was on Alec Pantelio. I mean, he was so clearly the guy to beat that I figured like, hey, Sammy Sasso has beaten this guy last year. Given the circumstances of the match, I didn't know if he would be able to win that match again. So I was focused on him, and I was watching him, training for him. There wasn't really many other guys that I was like, hey, I need this look in practice, and it was all geared towards Alec. And when he got upset, I had to. It was actually right before I wrestled, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to calm myself down and be like, I got to go out there and wrestle this match. Like, first of all, I got to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, but then I just, regroup and then one match at a time kind of mentality. But I mean, I was expecting to win the tournament for sure.
All right. I guess after the semis, you got maybe 24 hours or something like that till the finals, right? And all the whole time you thought it was gonna be Alec. Now you know who it is, and it's Sammy. And you guys, I think you wrestled in Austin, right? Um,
Uh, we wrestled in Austin and we wrestled for third and fourth at the World Team Trials last year.
okay. So, how do you get ready, right? And I guess I don't mean physically, right? Like warm up and stretch and do shots. I mean, like, is there much to do in that last 24 hours to prepare for a certain person? In this case, Sammy Sasso.
Yeah, small things. Just small technical things that we're focused on, and Coach Slade does a good job of not throwing a ton at us as far as clogging up our mind, but just reassuring us in what we're good at and going out and executing. And to me, I think going into that match, the past two times I had wrestled Sammy were pretty. I had a pretty comfortable lead in those last two matches, and I felt like my athletic ability to get to his legs and finish was quite high. And I don't think I was quite ready for the fight that he brought. And I knew how I'd beaten him in the past, and I just figured I'd be getting to those same positions and being able to win in those same positions. And the match kind of got out of hand, and it was definitely had to dig deeper this time. And I think that was a mistake on my end. I think mentally I was a little bit more lax than I should have been when it came to getting in the heat of things.
Sure, it was an awesome match. We're gonna watch it now and pull it over. We're gonna let this thing play, and you can kind of talk me through it. Tell me
Berger looked
your
great in his
thoughts. You
match
can
yesterday against
really
Heath.
anything you think here. I'm not gonna ask you
Yep.
questions the whole time. But yeah, you thought you should just go like last time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about going into this match of what is he going to do different. He's obviously coached really well at Ohio State, and I knew he was going to make adjustments, and I wasn't quite sure what those adjustments were going to be. But I felt it right away. Like right here, he was already so much more aggressive than he was the first two matches. Last year he came out and he collar tied me hard, but I came out and double legged him, and I think that put a lot of hesitancy in him moving forward. And here, I mean, he just closed the gap right away. And it was clearly the mentality was don't let him breathe. Don't let him have any space. And that, I mean, I felt a little off as well, timing wise. Like that shot, you could just see I was up half a step behind. And
Yeah,
yeah, so I mean that's kind of a similar position where I've been able to score on him in the past two matches. So there I was like, okay, well, I'm all right. And then got to be tough in parterre. I think that I've made a big jump moving to the PRTC in that position.
sure. And now 4-0 lead a minute in, you got to be feeling good about that. But in those opening seconds, when you said you're like, immediately I felt a difference. He closed the distance. He was more aggressive. You're not probably thinking these thoughts, but like that information's coming to you right away. Are you thinking I got to make adjustments, or are you making adjustments to his adjustments?
Yeah, I just in these moments I'm trying to make those, like, create the space, stay in position, stay in the hand fight, don't let them control the center of the mat. And then I mean, see, like that, and just in that moment too, that there's another didn't time it well, have a step behind, getting caught. And so mentally I'm kind of like I am a step behind. Like I can't really feel what's going on. And I think this is why, I mean, I just kind of slow down and I'm not really bringing the fight to him. I'm kind of just letting it come to me. And that's where I think I got in trouble in this match later in the second period. Is you can just see Sammy's dictating the pace. He's dictating the pace. He's controlling center. He's getting his hands on, and I'm just kind of weathering the storm. And there's not really a whole lot of momentum in my favor.
Have you watched the match? Since before this, have you watched it since it happened?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so you have time to process this and think it through. And there you're catching that far ankle, and he's obviously really good when you're on his legs. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah, and that was another thing about this match. I don't think he's ever really hit my leg that hard, and uh, so that kind of was another, like, just another little piece of, like, okay, now he's shooting more than he has in the past, and he hit my leg. So there, yeah, it was just a weird match for me mentally. I think more than anything else, of like really being hesitant, and it slowed me down for sure. I mean, he did a good job.
Now, are you like again? I don't. It's like, do people think during matches, or are they processing, or is it just all feel? But are is that a thing to you? Are you like, I'm a half a step behind, or I'm not being as aggressive, or I am off? Do you know those things in the moment, or is it like having gone back and watched it, you realize that?
No, I can feel it. I can feel it for sure in the match, and I think those are the kind of adjustments that I'm working on right now in my development, is feeling those things and being able to, like, change it now, change it now. Don't let a minute to a minute and a half go by of, like, I'm a step behind, like, and you're just kind of waiting on the outside, hoping that something changes. It's like I'm trying to make that switch of, like, he's a step ahead, circle out, take a deep breath, bang, go right back to the middle and get your offense going, get your motion going. Um, because yeah, I mean, you see it in this match. It's like I score with a minute and then 2 minutes of not really seeing another opportunity. And now, I mean, now this is Sammy's match. Like he lives in these positions of, like, just push the pace, push, hoping the guys will take this bad shot. And that's where he's best. And I mean, you kind of just see that happen right there.
Like on cue, yeah. It's crazy to think that you went up 4-0, early, but you felt like it was his match, or he was dictating the rest of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can just see his body language. And you feel that in matches as well. Like and that's another thing that just working on, of, like, body language matters. The way that you present yourself in your stance matters. Like, you could see that he's confident, and as a competitor, you're like, man, I'm ahead, but I feel as if I'm losing these positions. Yeah, and then another, I mean, just lack of awareness there. That's a position I should have won.
I don't want to say panic, but is there like an oh crap kind of feeling now? Like shit, that
Oh
lead went
yeah.
away.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. I mean, now it's I'm losing now. And I was ahead 4-0. There's not, I mean, there's 2 minutes left and there's plenty of time, but you can see, I could feel the match slipping through my fingers. And there, I just, yeah, again, like he's not really taking any steps back. It's not like he's surprised that he scored on me. It's like he's confident and he wants to continue to pour it on here. And that kind of, those are the things, that's the match within the match of not really a technical thing. It's not really about the wrestling, more the mentality of like he's trying to break that little bit of will that I have left of like it's fine. Putting that aside is not an easy task.
And it's clear now sitting here talking to you, watching it. I don't think I maybe picked up on it as much in the moment, but yeah, he
Yeah.
hasn't taken a step back, and the momentum's definitely there's another one.
So there I knew it was 4-4. I had to get a push out anyways. And he was putting so much heat on me that I ended up giving up that push out because I wanted to have a break right there to just like pull my sock up, relax. And I knew I had to go get one anyways. Yeah, and I mean these are positions too that I haven't really struggled with him before of him getting these turns, so that I don't think I was quite ready for those positions. Usually it was like his whizzer and cradle, and these little tips were killing me.
Yeah, I hit two or three of them.
Yeah,
Now
and that's
30
another
second.
thing of that sheet on him. You're like, oh, I mean, I'm getting tipped a bunch now, so like, what do I need to? Those adjustments I think are a little bit more difficult because like I'm not going to stop shooting.
He's not going to stop trying to tip
Yeah, yeah, and
or tipping.
I don't
I
know
mean, what
how
do
I
you
won this
think?
challenge.
Go ahead.
I said I don't know how I won this challenge. To be completely honest, I thought I lost the match. I thought the match was over right here. There's a time where the camera streams over to me, and yeah, right here, I'm sick. I thought I figured match is 9-6. We threw the brick. Nothing changes. Of if I'm down 10-6, I need to take down to a turn. If I'm down 9-6, I need to take down to a turn. Like doesn't matter. And that's what. Yeah, I was I felt like I just let the match go right there. I was like, I blew it. The match is over.
So they went 2-1 on that, right? Because it was 7-5. Oh, but then they go 2-2.
Yeah. So the only thing that I can think of, like, yeah, I'm thinking there's no way that I look up and I saw it and I was like, there's no way that was my points. And I think that there's a moment before where his hand kind of hits the mat, like he reaches back just slightly, and then he grabs and tips. And I don't know if that's what the ref saw, where they count that as two. But when they changed the score, I asked the ref, I was like, is that score right? And then you see this camera pan over to me, and I said, does a takedown win it? Because there were so many 2-1s. And I was like, all right, I got to go get it here. Right off the whistle, I knew I was going to shoot.
On freaking real.
Get big, get big. I knew as soon as the shoulder hit, it was over.
What a
Crazy,
swing
man.
of emotions.
So yeah, and that's what it was. That's what that celebration was. It was like going from I lost this match, like there's no way that they're gonna give me these points to going and getting that takedown buzzer beater. Like I'm in
Berger gets in
disbelief.
deep,
Like it
gets the
was such a
finish.
surreal moment. I couldn't
Oh man,
believe
I
it.
can't wait to see the replay there. I think they
The
got that
Have
the
you ever had?
craziest thing too,
do too.
what's that?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was the whole training camp, we done these small short goes of down by one, 30 seconds left, down by one, 20, 15 seconds left, 10 seconds left, 7 seconds left. And we did a lot of these, a lot of reps of 7 seconds left. You need to go get a takedown. And we would track our percentages of like how well are we scoring on these, like how often are we actually getting a takedown. And Slay just kept pushing us of like, hey, you want to get these percentages up to, we had a certain goal that we wanted to hit. And obviously who you're wrestling would affect those percentages. But we practice these moments and train these moments, and I just never in my mind thought that I was going to be in this position. And the fact that it came and I scored on something that was so unlikely. I mean, it was just like, as a sports moment, as a sports fan, and as a kid growing up, you watch these cool moments happen. Like, I'll remember that moment for the rest of my life. Like, just unbelievable.
I know there's recency bias to it, but like, is that like, I don't want to say the best moment of your wrestling career, but are there any others that stick out like that?
I don't not I mean, that has to be the greatest moment for me. I've wrestled in high stakes matches before. I've never had that kind of, just the whole thing. Like, your season's on the line to go to Final X to make a world team, US Open finals, losing in the way that I was losing, like blowing a lead, having a comeback, facing that adversity, and then going out and getting it. It just was like an out of body experience.
Did it, sometimes it's like doesn't even sink in. Obviously it's sunk in, you're super excited, but like when you walk off the mat, calm down, maybe do an interview and sit in the stands, did you ever like get a second to sit back and be like, holy, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I was in the stands probably 15 minutes later, sitting next to my wife and my parents, and my wife kept asking me. She was like, "Are you okay? Like, are you like?" And I was just sitting there, and I wasn't like, just like, "Oh my gosh!" And I kept telling her like, "I'm fine." I just like, I can't believe that just happened. Like, I could not believe that I was in that scenario. And yeah, I don't remember I don't physically remember like celebrating and doing all that. Like, I can't even, I kind of blacked out there, but I've watched it so many times that it's like I'm watching somebody else go out there and do it. So it's the weirdest feeling. But yeah, I mean, we trained for those moments, and the things that I had been doing in training. I mean, just the whole past 6 months of going overseas, taking losses that I was just super frustrated with, not seeing how I'm getting any better. And I feel like I was going backwards, to just continuing to put the work in and doing hard things. That's why I do hard things. That's why I do things every week that push me mentally, physically, not just in the wrestling room. And it's for moments like that of like digging deep and knowing that just through repetition that I've done this before, that I've felt this kind of anxiety before, that I've been stressed out and having to go and push deep and figure it out. And so, yeah, it was cool to see all that work pay off.
One of the cool, all the things you said, one of the coolest and maybe most interesting is like we're doing 30, 20, 15, 7-second goes, like, and you're tracking percentages, right? So this is like Rocky, or I mean Drago, and the scientific training. Like, you guys are actually uh keeping notes and data on how many times you win the 7 seconds and how many times you lose and what your percentage is like. And is this a week? Is this over? Is this a month? How, what?
So this is every week. Every week we're getting, and we have a group chat where these numbers are getting put out in the chat of like, hey, Jordan was here, Mark was here, Tyler, you have this, and like, Tyler, your percentages were low. Like, you need to be picking it up next week. Like, there's those kind of things, and so there's an accountability there as well. And yeah, I mean, Slay even brought it up, but when we were starting to do this, of like, we've seen guys win with 8 seconds left. We've seen guys win an Olympic gold medal down by one or down by two. And, we've seen it happen. And to us, we're like, yeah, like, but it's not going to be us, we're not.
Right.
But they matter. And it could be the opposite scenario where you have to be able to stay disciplined, where you're not losing focus like that and getting taken down. And yeah, you never think that you'll be in those scenarios until it happens to you. And then you're sick that you haven't trained it.
What a wild, what a wild match. What a wild finish. That was an awesome breakdown too. I appreciate you kind of walking us through it the way you did after watching it. So, but for you, you got enjoy it, be happy about it, but like put it to bed at some point and look ahead at, Zain Retherford staring across you at the mat. You talked about Pantelio kind of was the focus coming into this. Now it's going to be Zain. excuse my ignorance, but have you wrestled Zain? Do you guys have a history before?
Yeah, I've wrestled Zayn one time in 2021 World Team Trials in Lincoln for third and fourth, and he rolled me up in like 2 minutes. So then that was yeah, I think there was a lot of stuff going on for me. I don't think I wrestled well that whole tournament, and I definitely was not ready to go when I stepped on the mat with him. And he kind of surprised me when as soon as he grabbed me, I was like, oh geez. I was not ready for what he was about to bring. So I have wrestled him. I think it'll be a lot different this time around.
When you say he surprised me right away when he grabbed me, was it? And you even said Sammy kind of surprised me this last time. He took it to me, closed the gap, and you verbalized it pretty well. What was it about Zayn that surprised you?
The dude is so strong. It's unbelievable. He feels like a steel rod. And I was like, whoa. It was like it was just a strength that I wasn't ready. I mean, I'd wrestled, you're wrestling college guys, I'd wrestled like Chenzo and stuff, but it felt different. And so I think that kind of just I hadn't felt that from a 70-kilo guy in a while. So it was just different. Like in that same tournament, I had wrestled Deacon, but Deacon's kind of a taller, lankier guy, and he has a different. He feels incredibly strong as well, but it was a different type of feel. Zayn being a little bit more compact brings a little bit more punch to it.
Yeah. Have you started? I'm sure, but I guess to what degree have you started really giving thought to this match, or sitting with Slay or Jordan or whoever, and like whether it's game plan or just things to be aware of or adjustments to make from last match?
Yeah. So far, I've been taking this week kind of light. Just kind of taking a deep breath. We'll have 5 weeks starting next week to get ready to go. So I haven't put too much thought into it yet. I'm prepared for the challenges that I will have though coming into this training camp. Like I know, like I feel comfortable even talking about just like that last match of like, hey, it's pretty obvious what went well for Sasso in that match, and watching it, I know those guys are gonna see that, and the strategy could be very similar. And so I know what I'm going to need to work on. I've felt Zayn now, and he's going to present different challenges. He is a shooter. He does, obviously, his foot's going to be on the gas the entire 6 minutes. So yeah, as far as strategy is, I got a few things ready to go. And other than that, though, it's going to be similar mentality of what I was thinking about going in the U.S. Open of. I know I'm capable of winning. And I know that my effort and my ability, if I'm wrestling to the best that I possibly can, I believe that I'll beat him. I believe I'll be on the world team this year. And that could mean the obstacles that are in the way, whether that's fatigue, whether that's holding the lead, whether that's having to come back and go get a takedown, losing late, whatever those challenges are going to be, that's going to be the prep going into this training camp of getting my mind ready to go for those battles where whatever it may be that we're willing to face them and step into the heat of it.
Since the last time you wrestled Zayn, do you think you've improved more physically or mentally?
I would say both. I've also feel like I've gotten a lot better at just understanding my weight cut and how to be fully prepared for that of having being the biggest and strongest that I can possibly be. And then, yeah, I think I've grown tremendously mentally. I just having a few extra years of moving to California helped me a lot, where I'd always had Coach Manning and Snyder and these guys pouring into me and providing a lot of structure and helping me through different challenges. Going to California was not like that. And I had to figure out a lot of things on my own, where it was like, hey, if no one's going to be telling you what the structure is. No one's going to be telling you what you need to be doing. So if you want to be successful, you better figure it out. And so I took a lot more responsibility in my progression that way, which just helped me. It helped sharpen me. And now moving over to PRTC is I have those tools that I had to develop in California, and I'm also now a part of this team where everyone's doing that, and so it's just accelerating my progression, and I feel like I'm on an upward trend, and I'm going to ride it and continue to press into this and try to squeeze out as much potential as I can possibly get.
What excites you most about this next set of matches, whether it's wrestling Zain, wrestling in Final X, the opportunity to make a world team, and you can't say all of it. It could be something I didn't say. But what excites you the most about this next opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to wrestle Zain. I think watching him at the World Championships last year, I believe if that match in the finals with Japan were to play out, I think Zain would have won that match. I just felt like he was the best wrestler in the weight, and so with that, it's cool because in my mind, I'm chasing down the world champ. I'm chasing down the best in the world right now, and so there is that, like, he is the mountain that I'm moving towards right now. I'm gonna climb that mountain and I'm gonna figure it out. And yeah, I'm 2 matches away from being able to enter in the tournament I thought about since I was a little kid of being a world champ. And I know that if I get through Zain and I make this world team, I'm absolutely capable of winning right away. Even though I've never competed at the world championships, I know that I beat Zain, I'm going to be able to beat anybody in the world.
You said this is a tournament I've been eyeing for a long time, or for forever, right? Which obviously it's the Worlds. Um, have you always believed, you always wanted to go there, but have you always believed, like you do today, that you are capable of going and winning?
No, I haven't. A lot of times in the past, it's been a dream of, I hope I could do it if, you know, so and so tears his knee, if this guy slips on a banana and I fall into a lace, then maybe I can make the world team, like all those kind of crazy scenarios. And this has been really the first time of like, I truly believe I'm the guy. And there's a different level of confidence that I feel like I'm bringing to the mat. And yeah, on June 10th, if Zane's the better man, then so be it. But he's going to have the best version of me when I step on the mat. That's for sure.
Belief is dangerous, man. Belief is
Yeah.
dangerous, and as you know, like it's tough to do something if you don't believe. But it sounds like you truly believe.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, I appreciate you joining us today. It's been awesome chatting with you and really kind of diving into your mindset over the last few years, from moving to California and back over here, and winning the U.S. Open, and the upcoming opportunities. I'm going to leave you, though, with the final word to say anything you want to say about anything.
Yeah, I think just reflecting back on the U.S. Open is this whole training camp. I feel like the way that God has impacted my training has just been super humbling. Of most of my career, I've tried to hold on so tightly to what I think would satisfy me, and that if I could just win, if I could just be a national champ, I would be satisfied. If I could just win the US Open, I'll be satisfied, and then get to Final X. And already the past few days, it's crazy how I've stepped into it, and I'm super thankful that God gave me a win. And I feel like he'd humbled me completely, where I was ready to go into that tournament open palmed, and win or lose, I was prepared to give him the glory either way, and to be able to experience that joy of whatever he was going to teach me in that moment. And it's crazy that already in the past few days, I've won the tournament. Now it's on to the next thing. And already I can feel myself, well, if I just make the world team, then I'll be satisfied. And if I make the world team, then if I can just win a world championship, then I know I'll finally make it. And like, those are the temptations already that are creeping into my mind. And it's never going to be enough. And I get the opportunity to be with Jordan, and he's won 7 world championships, and he would tell you that that's not what brings him the most joy. And that's not where he puts his identity in. And so it's cool to be a part of this program and to be with him as well. And just to be on this road of, like, I really feel like God is stripping away my pride and my selfishness and my worldly desires. And I feel like I'm finally being able to enjoy the sport for what it is and be able to put my all into something and not find my true identity in it. And so, yeah, I just feel like I'm having the most fun I've ever had in this sport, and I'm excited for whatever comes next.
Well said. Super well said, Tyler. Awesome interview. Awesome time hanging out with you. Congrats on a great U.S. Open, and best luck to you at Final X June 10th in New Jersey. We'll be out there, man.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me, and yeah, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yep. Thanks so much. Have a great day. All right. Okay, folks, man, that was awesome. Really good show with Tyler Berger. Appreciate him taking some time to talk with us. And that's going to do it. So I will see you guys next time. Have a great day, and adios.